this every day.
New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up. Literature's for the masses. Where to put your money down, now how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. If we all just come together, there's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
Hey, grand rising to you, billionaires. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club, where Black folk do read. You put in the book, we absolutely will find it. I'm your host, ERGJ. You're a certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. It's a study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, you should study wealthy people. Well, grand rising to you kings and queens. You can find that book by simply going to the website, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. You will also find that link in the description above or below. Well, while you guys are connecting here, we're broadcasting on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Go and let us know where you're connecting from. What city, what state, what country quite possibly are you joining from today? What city, what state, what country are you joining from today? Let us know so we can know just how far our reach may be as we are on the World Wide Web. This also is a podcast that you can pick up and listen to this episode and previous episodes by checking us out across all podcast platforms from Google to Apple to Stitcher to Spotify at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. So if you missed any previous episodes, you can pick up there. And then last but not least, guys, I'm noticing here there are a lot of people saying, hey, I didn't know you were on. Well, you want to make sure you hit that notification button. So we'll let you know that when we go live so you don't miss an episode. If you really love the live experience of what we do as we go through some great literature and see how it can actually help to benefit our life. It's all about what we're focusing on is personal development. You know, becoming the best self that we can be so we can live the best life that we can live. That's right. Become the best self that you can be so we can live the best life that we can live. Steve, man, what's going on, man? Rise and grind. What's going on with your brother? Thanks so much. Didn't know you was on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Hey, man, we're going to get right into our affirmation of the day. This comes out of Daily Motivation for African-American Success. We've already done a little script there, but we are going to capture this affirmation of today. Today's affirmation simply says this: society takes us at our own value. We are worth only what we think we're worth. Let me repeat that again. See, I'm going to start to put in some little personalization here. Society takes us at our own value. Society takes me at my own value. I am worth only what I think I am worth. I am worth only what I think I'm worth. And so here's the deal, guys. This affirmation really goes into the concept of us settling for less. So there are many people that just don't feel like they're worth more. I mean, that they deserve more or that they should have more, whatever the case may be. So we settle for the crumbs instead of the steak. We settle for what will fall off the table instead of eating at the table. And so you are worth what you think you're worth. And this is all about self-worth, self-esteem, and wherever you are in life right now, you're probably worth more than you think you are, but you only be worth what you think you are. And so society itself takes us at our own value. So the question is, what do you think you're worth? Now, we understand that many of us can say whatever when it comes to what we think we're worth. But the true measure of how you value yourself is in your behavior. It's in your actions. It's not just what you say. I mean, you can say, oh, I'm worth $1 million. Oh, I'm worth this. I'm worth that. But do you have $1 million habits? Are you exercising a million dollar work ethic? And so it comes down to not just what you say, because a lot of people say stuff just to just to begin to feel better, I guess. But what is it that you do? Do your actions, validate what you may say? Now, the reality is your actions do tell the truth, no matter how much you may lie to yourself. But it may begin with you saying, hey, I am worth this. And then you begin to transform, begin to change. You begin to get better. You begin to do better, not just talking about being better. Society takes me at my own value. I am worth only what I think I'm worth. I'm worth only what I think I'm worth. That's our daily motivate, our daily affirmation coming out of the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Mr. Dennis Kimbro. Daily Motivations for African American Success by Mr. Dennis Kimbro. Today is July 31st, guys. We're going to continue along in our main text, which is what makes the great great. What makes the great great? And you'll see as we have been kind of going along, just day by day, we're getting through this thing, chapter 5. As we're not gonna finish up chapter 5 today. It'll probably be next episode. But we are going to get into some things here today as we're talking about the greatest advice, which is work. And today's title will be Opportunity Always Shows Up in Work Clothes. Opportunity always shows up in work clothes. Let me see if I can catch this. What did you say? July 30th? Did I say it wrong? Yeah, today's July 30th. Did I say 31st? Oh, tomorrow's 31st. Today's 30th. All right, fantastic. All right, so the greatest advice is work, labor. And we've learned over the past couple of episodes that, the validation of the scripture that in all labor there's profit. And so we go to work. We're going to go to work today. We've been blessed with another day. Let's get into what makes the great great. The best sermon. The best sermon. One day, a woman was working in the garden outside of her house when a traveling minister stopped by. "What a lovely garden," he exclaimed, getting out of his horse-drawn buggy. Full of roses, orchids, and other beautiful flowers, the garden was bordered by sculpted hedges and stood out from the other gardens in the neighborhood. "My good woman, God has certainly blessed you with an extraordinary garden." The woman stood up and wiped her brow. "Yes, I am very grateful. But you should have seen this place when he had it all to himself." As he rode away, the traveling minister realized that every gardener along the road had been blessed with the same soil, the same opportunity, and that each gardener was a reflection of the people who created it. What someone does with their garden is their business. While each gardener had similar materials to work with, this woman had done something truly extraordinary, for her garden had far surpassed her neighbors. The woman was grateful for that she had been given, for what she had been given, but she knew that what she did with it was the difference between success and failure. Well, kings and queens, you also have a garden. And the difference between success and failure comes down to what you do with that garden. You've been blessed with the same soil. You've been blessed with the same opportunity. But the reality is your garden is a reflection of you. Your garden is a reflection of you. Same soil. And when it rains on the rich and the poor. Same soil. Same opportunity. Now, there's some who say, no, I haven't been given the same opportunity that everybody else has. No, you've been given the opportunity to make an opportunity. See, the people that actually move along in this world, they don't wait until something comes knocking on their door. They go out and make it happen. Same opportunity, simply saying that you got oxygen, you got, you know what I'm saying, you got blood flowing in your veins, you got the same opportunity. Now, it's going to be hard for some of you to look at it that way. And you're going to look at it and say, no, you're going to find a way. You're going to find a way to talk yourself out of, man, you know what? I got opportunities just like other people have opportunities. Matter of fact, in the other book that we was reading, it asked this question: how many wealth-creating opportunities have you thrown back into the water because you did not believe yourself worthy? How many opportunities have you bypassed in your life? Matter of fact, how many opportunities, wealth-creating opportunities have you bypassed just this year? Or just this week? You see, every time that a good idea comes across your path and you don't work on it, you're basically bypassing, you're basically throwing a wealth-creating opportunity back into the sea, back into the pool of thought, back into the universe. See, successful people, they got those opportunities and they did something with it. They didn't bypass it. They didn't say, I'll do it tomorrow. They didn't say, I'll get to it. They did something with it. Will you do something with your opportunities? Your garden is a reflection of you. And the woman was grateful for what she had been given, but she knew that what she did with it was the difference between success and failure. Good fortune may help you get to the top, but it takes hard work to stay there. Good fortune. There's another quote that says that luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Are you even prepared for opportunity? Another quote says, hey, it's better to be prepared and have no opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Are you prepared? Are you getting prepared? Knowing that the opportunity, if it has not already come, it's on its way. Are you prepared? Are you getting prepared for your opportunity? Though many philosophers have made the statement that a man is the master of his destiny, most have failed to say why. Man may be the master of himself and his destiny because it is he who can taste the fruit of his own labor. To a world that requires service, measures discipline, and patience, demands a fair day's wage for an honest day's effort, and values the time and commitment that excellence demands, the road to greatness is split polished with sweat. Work is the shortest path to success. Work is the shortest path to success. I like that. I got to highlight that one. Work is the shortest path to success. Your life's work. Your life's work. Now, finding and creating your life's work, even if it is entirely different from what you have done most of your life, will bring you more happiness and wealth than any other action you can take. If your primary responsibility in life is being true to yourself, that can only be accomplished by carrying out what you are called to do, your unique and special vocation. The true American dream not only provides the freedom to use your gifts and talents to achieve your highest goal, but also gives you the freedom to fulfill your purpose in life. You are meant to work in ways that suit you. You are meant to work in ways that suit you. Drawing on your natural talents and gifts, this work, when you find it and commit to it, even if it is only as a hobby, is the key to happiness. Your life's work involves doing what you love and loving what you do. Kings and Queens, how many guys that are watching right now, you are doing what you love and you love what you do? I wonder if you could be doing what you love and not love what you do, or vice versa. I don't know. Are you doing what you love and do you love what you do, even if it's only a hobby? Matter of fact, I would suggest and recommend to people that, hey, if you are at some meaningless job or some job that you just got a job, you don't care, it's not a career, don't have care in it, at the very least, you could be still doing what you love and loving what you do as a hobby. And then you can eventually turn that hobby into a full-time thing. So you could be working full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune, full-time on your job, part-time on your labor of love, full-time on the present, part-time on the future. You could do that because, again, it comes down to choice and what you do with your time. And here's the thing. We've all been given the same soil. That soil is 24 hours in a day. What you do with your day is up to you. So are you choosing to work on something that you love and love what you do, even if it's as a hobby, even if it's as a part-time thing until you turn your part-time into full-time? It's called transition. It's called transition. Now, of course, I would also venture to say that it requires a plan. You got a plan of attack. Say, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Here's where I want to be. Here's what I'm going to start doing until I can get to where I want to be. I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's probably going to go faster than I thought because I'm working on it every day. Doing what you love and loving what you do. Now, what is that work? Usually something that excites you and makes you feel a strong emotion whenever you think about it. It is the career you are undoubtedly meant to have, something that is right for you. Finding and creating your life's work will require that you listen to your inner voice and follow your instincts. Whatever you are seeking, it is seeking you. Whatever you are seeking, it is seeking you. A life's work inspires passion. It sustains energy. It seduces you. It trails you at your every move. And as a result, you will be well compensated for working effortlessly on a job that you would gladly perform for free. Wealth is the byproduct of doing anything well. Wealth is the byproduct of doing anything well. Let me read this again about your life's work. Your life's work inspires passion. Your life's work, it sustains energy. I mean, you can just keep doing it and keep going on. What's something that you can just keep doing? You can just on and on and on. It's not like, oh, I got to do this. No, it's just like you look forward to it. Your life's work, it seduces you. It trails your every move. And as a result, you will be well compensated for working effortlessly on a job that you would gladly perform for free. I think one of the biggest questions that many have in life is, what is my life's work? What was I born to do? Why am I here? Right? These are some questions. These are some life questions that I think most people tend to go through that phase of answering for themselves at some point in time in their life. Why am I here? Well, one of the reasons why you're here is to work. That's one thing we know. And one of the reasons why you're here is to go to work. Your life's work. Labor is life. Labor is life. It's been said that we need reminding as much as we need educating. We need reminding as much as we need educating. And I think that's one of the reasons why I do this. This book club. To remind you. Right? I educate by nature, but to remind us on a consistent basis, as a reminder that yes, we can do it. Yes, we are responsible. Yes, we must take control. Yes, we are masters of our fate. Yes, it's a reminder, continual reminder. Because once we get done with this, then we got to go face the world, and the world is reminding us of some other stuff, not the good stuff. All right? This reminds me of some other stuff, not the good stuff. Okay? Individuals have the most perverse tendency to take the best thing. One second. Individuals have the most perverse tendency to take the best things in life for granted. In fact, a human being has the capacity to take anything, no matter how great, for granted. once he or she becomes used to it. That's why I say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Too often we take things and people for granted until they're gone, they're sick, they're ready to move on or something like that. A lot of times we take things and or people for granted. That's why, in the morning I say, man, it's an attitude of gratitude. First of all, not taking the good Lord for granted. Thanking God that I'm still here. Some people just didn't wake up this morning. They were on their way, but I'm still here. And I'm not taking my life for granted anymore. That's the first thing. And then I'm thanking God for the love, for the people that's in my life. I mean, there's nothing I could do, nor any place I could be if it wasn't for the people. I wouldn't have a business if it wasn't for the people. I wouldn't be educating others if it wasn't for the people that wanted to be educated by me. So I realized that to stop taking things and or people for granted. I've got more than enough in my life. At this point in my time in my life, it's all about giving back. I mean, I can't take none of this ish with me. So for the rate, I think you spend a third of your life learning, the next third of your life earning, and then the final part of your life returning. Because you can't take nothing with you. So don't take your life, don't take other people in your life, and don't take some of the things that you have in life for granted. The actor in front of the cameras, the captain at the helm of an ocean liner, the writer in her study, the painter in front of his canvas, all seem to allow the charm and excitement of their work to fade like the noonday sun. Their careers have grown cold and stale, as mundane as brushing teeth. Our Maker did not give us minds of our own and free will so that we could drift aimlessly without a sense of purpose and direction. We must control and use our talents to their fullest in ways that each of us sees the best. To do otherwise is to waste our lives. The hopeless plotters, those who insist upon the mundane life, know too well the banality of waste. A human life rich with potential, reduced to mere existence. These individuals are prisoners of work. They conform to low standards. They limit their growth. Each of us has seen these prisons of mediocrity in all walks of society. Executives who clamor for the golden handcuffs that will keep them in their gilded cages of unfulfillment. Laborers who go on strike for contracts that bind them to low productivity. And office workers who oppose anything that challenges the status quo. You and I were not created to be chained. You and I were not created to be chained. One second. You and I were not created to be chained. You and I were not created to be chained. Now let's talk about this for a second. Is it possible, and I foresee this, but is it possible now that in 2019 that some of us, many of us, are prisoners of the moment? We've enslaved ourselves voluntarily, so to speak, conditioning ourselves, programming ourselves, allowing things ourselves that we possibly shouldn't allow. You and I were not created to be chained, but yet many of us, we chain ourselves. We limit ourselves. It's almost as if we're trying to break chains that we have formed ourselves at this point. Mental slavery, you could call it. Financial slavery. Bondage that we have created for ourselves, and we act as if someone else has done it. You and I were not created to be chained. It simply means we were created to be free. There's an old song, it's in vogue, or it probably came before in vogue, said, free your mind and the rest will follow. What is it that you have held up in your mind that's holding you back? That's keeping you from being free? You got to free yourself. I think that's one of the reasons why the good book talks about being born again. I think there's a freedom in being born again. They say renew your mind by the renewal of your mind. There's a renewness going on, a refreshing going on, a renewing that's going on a continual basis. Be ye transformed. Transform is another word for change. In order to change, it requires a renewing of the mind, changing the way that you think. You and I were not created to be chained. We were not designed to follow, but to achieve, to strive, and to build. Imagination is the key. When we fail to use our imagination, our work becomes routine. Routine leads to the rut of mediocrity. Wow. Everybody putting console routine. Routine leads to the rut of mediocrity. How many guys have found that to be true? It's almost as if when it's new, I think this is why we love new so much. When it's new, it's like it gets you going, it gets you moving. Like, yes, it's something new. Okay, yes, I got a new task. Yes, I got a way to use my imagination. I can create. But when it becomes mundane and routine, like this is the same thing, different day, it begins to lead you to like, man, I don't want to do that. Man, this is boring. Man, this is, you start getting lazy. You start drifting into mediocrity. You can do the stuff with your hands and with your eyes closed, your hands tied behind your back. Now you're moving to a state of drift and into a rut of mediocrity. But when you have a challenge, when there's some newness going on, when you are creating and you use your imagination, you seem to exalt, you seem to elevate. Routine leads to the rut of mediocrity. Now, it's very interesting about routine is that it seems as if as habitual people, I think we love routine too much. Like if there's something that messes, just think about it this morning, right? Whatever it is that you do in your morning, you probably got a ritual, a routine that you follow as far as getting out of bed, taking a shower, brushing the teeth, whatever. You probably do everything every day, very similar in the exact same way. You probably take the same route to work. It's like a habitual thing. And if something breaks your habit, if something breaks your habitual pattern, you get upset because they done broke your routine. And let it be off just for 5 minutes. Now you feel like you're hurrying, you're in a rush. You feel like you're going to be late because something interrupted your routine. Routine leads to the rut of mediocrity. Mediocrity is the farthest point possible from creativity. Imagination discovers possibilities where none existed before. Great men and women know the real value of work, not just the inherent value to those who benefit from it, but its greater value to the person performing it. Those who dare to succeed seem to have the capacity for never taking their work for granted. Never take your work for granted. However, most people must search and listen for their calling. You can begin by knowing that you are someone who has a rare gift within you. In fact, you came to this planet with that special, unique talent. You can start by looking into opportunities of interest. Believe that it is never too late to begin your life's work. Everybody put in comments, so never too late. It is never too late to begin your life's work. Now, this speaks a lot to me because as he said, hey, you have the capacity for never taking your work for granted. And I tell you, that could be very easy to do, especially in the beginning. See, in the beginning of your life's work, in the beginning of you operating in this space that you know that you've been called to do, or you've realized your inner passion, your inner talent, things like that, you don't have a lot of fanfare. You don't have a lot of people that are supporting. You don't have a lot of people hitting the like button. You don't have a lot of people hitting the follow button. You don't have a lot of people tuning in. Not in the beginning. You don't. And so because of that, many people look at that and they be like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's not what I'm supposed to do, because they don't see the type of success or the type of results that they would like to see, or in their mind they think they should have by whatever particular time they are in. But when you're in your life work, when you're operating in your life's work, you really only need one. Matter of fact, you don't even need any. Because what happens is you realize that, hey, for example, what I'm doing right now, although it's 5, 6, 7, maybe people that are joining us live, I don't look at what is joined live. I don't pay attention to that. I mean, I see it, but I don't pay attention to it. What I think about is the millions and the millions who may not see it on live, who may catch it later, who may come back to it on the weekends, who meant to tune in, but they just were too busy in routine that they say, I'm going to catch it when I can catch it. But if I were, I don't even know the word, but if I just looked at the now, and I only saw the now, and I only paid attention, okay, who's tuning in live and all this stuff, if I'm pandering for likes, if I'm doing what I'm doing just to have some semblance of to feel good, I don't know. But people do stuff for a lot of different reasons. I mean, matter of fact, Gary V, he was talking about this. He mentioned something about it the other day. He was saying, man, because he had somebody call in and they were talking about, hey, when I post this online on my Instagram account or something like that, I might get, let's just say I might get 40 likes. Right. And there was a lady called in. She said, but when I post pictures of me, my swimsuit, or, I got boobs and I got a little bit of leg and thigh showing, I get 4,000 likes. And he was like, well, are you doing it for likes? That's a good question for you. Are you doing what you're doing for likes? You see, there's a lot of people who may like some of the stuff that I do, but I'm really doing it not for likes. I'm doing it why? To make a difference. Because I realize there's going to be someone, at least one, and maybe more than one, that may hear this message at some point in time, and it changes their life. It changes the way they think. It changes how they operate. It'd be a wake-up call for them, and it begins the process of transformation. But if I was doing it for likes, if I was pandering for some temporary satisfaction, if I was doing this to stroke my own ego, I wouldn't be operating my life's work. That begs the question, kings and queens. Why do you do what you do? And would you still do what you do for free? See, I'm not getting paid to do this. I just realized that I know this is something that'll make a difference for the few first, and then the many. How about you? What's going on, Eden? Thanks so much for joining. Eden said, poor spirit when I needed to hear this message. Then you mentioned Gary. Thank you, universe. That's how the universe works. Not quite sure, but yeah. You can start by looking at opportunities of interest. Believe that it is never too late to begin your life's work. It is never too late. We've got plenty of stories about people who didn't worry about how old they were. It was never too late for them. Got 2 more sections, then we'll wrap this thing up. How one man found his calling. How one man found his calling. Even as a 12-year-old, Herman Russell was careful with what little money he had. A string of odd jobs and a demeanor that was deadpan and businesslike belied his years. By 16, he had learned to earn money, and he decided to open his first bank account. Creating wealth seemed to be foremost in his mind. Somehow, he knew even then that the fortunes of youth could quickly wither. Herman J. Russell grew up with a gritty taste of plaster dust in his mouth and a hunger to help shape the long shadows that Atlanta's skyline cast over his poor South Side neighborhood. At an age when his peers were discovering carburetors and the opposite sex, Russell was seething with the spirit of enterprise and built his first duplex. The income from the monthly rent would help finance a college education at Tuskegee Institute. By 29, he was helping white developers transform the city's downtown skyscrapers. 30 years later, he rested at the helm of a $145 million conglomerate, not to mention a personal fortune estimated between $40 million and $100 million. Russell's success is the story of the son of a poor plasterer, maneuvering his struggling firm in a race-based environment that both penalized and rewarded his efforts. The construction industry provides an excellent example. The road to opportunity is paved with effort. On the surface, Russell seemed remarkably calm despite a schedule that includes 16-hour workdays. At 6 a.m., he can usually be found at a construction site conferring with staff and officials. By 10 o'clock, he's huddled around a conference table at the office of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, authorizing documents for upcoming projects. At noon, he must forego an Atlanta Chamber of Commerce luncheon, though he is a board member and past president, to host an unscheduled meeting with Olympic Committee officials and city staffers. He's also missing a committee meeting to nominate a local college president at 1:30 and a 1:30 appointment with a developer, not to mention the failure to return several important calls, including one from the White House. By early evening, he's entertaining business associates in a private box at an Atlanta Hawks basketball game. The next day and the next week follow a similar schedule. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard or know of this man named Herman Russell, who pretty much built Atlanta as we know it today. This is what we're talking about. Herman Russell, the person in construction who really built a lot of Atlanta. And he still got his sons that run the corporation organization. Matter of fact, they just opened a new center, RCEI, Russell Center for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, something like that. Herman J. Russell. Opportunity always comes dressed in work clothes. Opportunity always comes dressed in work clothes. Herman Russell's philosophy reflects his own hard-scrabble upbringing. Raised in a family of workaholics, Russell outpaces all but a few. The youngest of 8 children, he grew up on the crumbling streets of Summer Hill, the poorest of a series of impoverished Black neighborhoods in Atlanta. His father, a proponent of Booker T. Washington's philosophy of self-reliance. Everybody putting comments on self-reliance. Put his son to work at an age of 10, and he has been working ever since. My father believed in land, and that has obviously rubbed off. He was a plasterer who struggled to feed his family. He learned the trade from his father and passed it on to me. Under his guidance, I worked at different jobs: laborer, hod carrier, and mortar mixer. At 12, I was one of the best plasterers around. I could make anything out of plaster. But more important, he taught me the basic principles of success: discipline, punctuality, thrift. And that opportunity always comes dressed in work clothes. After college, Russell moved back to Atlanta and bought a ragtag pickup truck for $150. He set up his own firm by combining the city and doing small residential plastering. By the 1960s, Russell had successfully expanded into small-scale residential development, the market to which most Black contractors were then confined. His big opportunity came with the Civil Rights Movement. By mid-decade, Atlanta's leading developers were under intense pressure to invite Black business to participate in the city's rapidly expanding economy. By 1970, Russell was building 400-plus unit apartment complexes and had become a millionaire. But he hungered for more, which meant he would have to cross the color line that traditionally separated the Atlanta business community. He got help when newly elected Maynard Jackson, Atlanta's first Black mayor, issued a bold initiative requiring contractors doing business with the city to either institute affirmative action programs or enter into joint ventures with minority firms. Russell and other struggling Black contractors felt the windfall. Booker T. Washington was right. Russell points out, there's no victory without labor. There's no victory without labor. No race can prosper until it learns there is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem. This is the foundation of wealth. No race can prosper until it learns there is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem. This is the foundation of wealth. This is the foundation of wealth. The sweeping nature of Russell's ideas cannot be overemphasized. Good ideas, even great ones, are not rare. But getting them listened to, believed in, or acted upon is rare indeed. Gifts are not rare either. In fact, we all have them. Gifts are not, ideas are not rare. What's rare is execution. Gifts are not rare. Ideas are not rare. Getting them to be listened to, believed in, and acted upon, that is what is rare. See, you got ideas. You got some gifts. You got talent. You have ability. That's not rare. The execution is rare. In fact, we all have them. Moreover, the world welcomes them. What the world won't welcome, however, is idleness. It remains for us as individuals to accept the drudgery, the toil, and to overcome imminent discouragement to cultivate our gifts. So while gifts are not rare, people who refine them are. The meaning of life does not come from skimming its surface, but plunging headlong into the depths of a great task. Christ did not say, "Come unto me, all ye pleasure hunters, indolent and lazy." But he did instruct, "Come unto me, all that labor and are heavy laden." Never feel above hard work. Effort, sweat, and commitment will lift anyone into respectability. Effort, sweat, and commitment will lift anyone into respectability. Those are three elements that are shared here as we're talking about opportunity always comes dressed in work clothes. Effort, sweat, and commitment. Are you lacking in any one of those three areas? Effort, you try. Sweat, you work hard. Commitment, you do it every day. See, I realize that there are some people who lack all three. They talk, but they don't try. They work the easy stuff, but they won't do the hard stuff. And there's sometimes, every now and then, instead of every day. Effort, sweat, and commitment. There's some who just say, if I got to sweat, I ain't going to do it. Huh? Really? Huh? Really? If it involves me sweating, I'm not going to do it. Oh, okay. Herman J. Russell, millionaire, by the way. Effort, sweat, and commitment. Maybe we can learn something from a millionaire. This is the New Black Wall Street Book Club, where Black folk do read. You put in a book like What Makes the Great Great? Strategies for Extraordinary Success by Mr. Dennis Kimbro, we absolutely will find it. And I hope you got something out of today's episode. Again, guys, if you want to catch future episodes, make sure you hit the follow button, the subscribe button, or whatever it is. You got a notification button or whatever, so that you can be informed of when we do broadcast again. We'll probably be off. We're going to be off for we're going to be off for a week. So we'll be back on Monday for our next episode. But you can catch all of our replays on our podcast, which you can find across all different platforms. Also on YouTube, you can find us on ERGJ Enterprise. But the podcast is New Black Wall Street Book Club. Okay, that's across Google, Spotify, Stitcher, all that stuff as well. You also can support this movement as well of personal development. Reading Rainbow 2.0, the New Black Wall Street Book Club. If you're on Facebook, become a supporter. If you listen to the podcast, become a supporter. We must begin to put our money where our mouth is. And if this is something that you value, then there's an exchange that takes place that says, hey, this is something I'm getting of value. I'm going to exchange some value as well so that other people, right, can get some value out of it as well. Well, guys, I want to say thanks so much, kings and queens, for tuning into today's episode. And I want you to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God that that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
New black. It's the New Black Wall Street Book Club. With your host,
thanks so much, man.
It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now you ain't gotta leave the computer, but we encourage you to get out there and learn and apply all the things you learn at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Yeah. The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.